Funko Pop.
Ma, keep my wife's name out your
Funko Pop.
mouth.
I'm going to, okay?
I get sleepy when I watch film and TV. Heavy eyes, heavy eyes.
This is Heavy Eyes, a show about the films and sometimes TV I fall asleep on. I'm host, author / screenwriter something Pennysworth or rather, and surprisingly we are back for another week. If you listen to previous episodes, you know I started my 4-part mini-series about the Fast and Furious franchise, or Fast Saga if you're in the family. I gave a masterful scene-by-scene breakdown on how I would end the Fast Saga with its 2 final films, 10 Fast, 10 Furious, and Dom, the 11th and final chapter of the Fast Saga. Those films also set up possible spin-offs with Roman, Tej, and Ramsey being a part of the Men in Black, and Dom's son Brian Toretto wanting to go to wizard school. Also, Mr. Nobody mentioning that there could be monsters lurking out there, so who knows, maybe Jacob Toretto becomes a monster hunter. Last week, I, alongside Leo Archibald, broke down our rankings of the MCU projects from the year 2021. This week, we will be discussing and ranking the upcoming 2022 MCU projects that we are excited for. As you know, schedules for movies and shows change all the time, so we'll do our best to be accurate for what we expect to be released. This list will be a mix of the probable MCU TV shows and movies that are projected to be released in 2022. My list has a total of 9 projects, and I'll start with my number 9.
Number 9.
I have Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas Special. I look forward to every MCU project. This is only at the bottom because it's a one-off Christmas special, and we've obviously seen the Guardians before. James Gunn has said that this is one of the most fun he's had on a Guardians project. It's set to introduce some new characters to the MCU. A lot of people are guessing Santa Claus, and a popular fan cast is Mark Hamill, who it would be cool to see in the MCU.
Number 8.
At number 8, I have another holiday special, the Untitled Halloween Special, also maybe known as Werewolf by Night. This is a 8 for similar reasons as the last one, but I'm slightly more interested for its new character introduction, the mystery of it, and the potential horror aspects. I for sure think we'll start to learn more about it after the release of Moon Knight. We do have some cast members announced, but that's about it.
Number 7.
At number 7, I have Miss Marvel. At a point, this was one of the ones I was least excited by just due to things I was hearing, but seeing the trailer actually made me a little more excited. The one thing I didn't like, obviously, was the change of her powers, but I trust Marvel to make it make sense for the story and give fans what they want.
Number 6.
6 is She-Hulk. I'm just curious at what this show is going to be like. It looks and sounds to be very different from the other MCU shows. There was a recent rumor that this show was having a hard time being put together, and there's possible creative differences and could potentially be the first bad show. I don't think that's going to happen, but I definitely don't like hearing that.
Number 5.
For number 5, I'm going with Thor: Love and Thunder. At the time of recording this, there still isn't any trailers, no posters, no nothing. For a movie that's not that far away, we have very little information on it besides Christian Bale's the villain, the Guardians are in it, and Jane Foster becomes the mighty Thor. I also believe it's approaching a record for the MCU of closest trailer release to film release ratio or something like that. And I'm assuming Dr. Strange may have great implications, or maybe they're just holding the trailer.
Number 4.
At number 4, I chose Secret Invasion. So far, we just got some casting and some set photos, but I'm looking forward to seeing what this exactly is and if it leads into an Avengers Secret Wars movie. In Captain Marvel, we've seen Skrulls and maybe 1 or 2 other appearances or mentions, but other than that, their story hasn't been prominent. especially with the multiversal and cosmic direction this phase has taken, so it's going to be interesting seeing them come back into fold. Marvel lists are hard for me in general, but it's always more difficult once we start to get to the top. At number 3, I went with Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. At a time, because of the death of Chadwick Boseman, the uncertainty of the direction of the franchise, and rumors of Letitia Wright's on-set behavior, I wasn't nowhere near as excited. Recently started to hear better things about this movie, and seeing them go against Namor could be pretty cool. I hope for a secret Michael B return as a Killmonger variant, or even taking a role as a T'Challa variant as was rumored for Dr. Strange 2, because I think he would be the best option as Black Panther in the movies going forward. Plus, I need something to occupy his time to keep him from playing Black Superman like he's been thinking about. Ryan Coogler is a great director, so I'm sure he's figuring out how to pull this anticipated sequel off.
Number 2.
Number 2 for most people is Boo Boo, but number 2 for me is Moon Knight, which comes out in a couple days as of the release of this. The show looks different, darker, and exciting, and I'm overall looking forward to it. Early reviews are good, and Oscar Isaac looked like he's pulling this role off well. Hearing how Daredevil and Ghost Rider, Blade, Black Knight, and more could be incorporated setting up the Midnight Suns will be pretty cool.
Number 1.
Most people's number 1 is PP, but when compiling a list like this, most people's number 1 is also probably Dr. Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It's time. Seeing WandaVision, seeing Spider-Man No Way Home, hearing casting rumors, hearing full story rumors and various details and theories has the anticipation for this movie at an all-time high. It looks like one of the more crazy MCU movies and looks like madness visually as well. We have the premise, so it's just exciting to see how this all plays out and what it's going to affect going forward in the MCU. Also, finding out who the real members of the Illuminati are is going to be cool, because there's been plenty of guesses and leaks in quotation marks. That was my list, and right now I'm going to kick it over to Leo Archibald and see what his list is.
Now to 2022. My full excitement rankings, I got 10 entries here. And just full disclosure, if you follow the MCU when it comes to their shows, the schedule changes like crazy. It's pretty much just like, all right, we're done with it. Now we can start marketing it and when we want to get it out. So the shows that I have on this list, some are confirmed for this year. Some are just, I'm not sure that they're actually going to drop. But I just did my little research, and these are the shows that I feel are actually going to come out this year on top of the movies that are in line to come out this year. So starting at number 10, we have a special, and it's the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. It's at number 10 because I love the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I love the team. 2 of my favorite characters in the MCU are in Guardians of the Galaxy, i.e. Groot and Rocket. So anything they do, I'm down with. But I'm not the biggest fan of holiday specials, nor am I the biggest fan of holiday movies. Like, I watch them, seen plenty of them, like a lot of them, but they're just not my thing. Especially specials, because specials just mean like a money grab to me. So this just seems like it's going to be an entertaining money grab. It's going to be an entertaining way to just say, hey, I know you haven't seen our team in years. Here's something. And James Gunn is still writing and directing it, so his mind is always entertaining to see play out. So I'm going to be there for it, but it's got to come in at number 10 on my list. Coming in at number 9 is another special, and it's Werewolf by Night. I would not care anything about this special because apparently it's a Halloween special. I wouldn't care about it if it wasn't Marvel. But since it is Marvel, it would probably be number 10 on this list if they didn't reveal that we'll most likely get our first physical appearance of MCU's Blade. Mahershala Ali, phenomenal actor, pinpoint casting, I think it was. Kudos for them to be able to get him. Thought it was kind of similar to how Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, RIP, seeing him get cast, I've had those same feelings, and we all see what he did with that role, so I can't wait to see what Mahershala does with Blade. But I'm also interested in seeing how the MCU plans on incorporating vampires into their world. So if this is the first time that we get some intel on that, I'm intrigued. So sign that up for number 9. Number 8 is She-Hulk. I like the character Hawk, but I have become so comfortable with him being a side character in the MCU now that it's just not funny. Like we got the Hawk movie. Then Mark Ruffalo came and he's been a scene stiller in some of the movies that he's been in. Cool. But I think they have found the perfect lane for him. So when I start hearing things about solo Hawk movies or solo Hawk shows or She-Hulk shows, I'm there for it, obviously. I'm sure to be good. I'm sure to be entertaining. But if you're asking me, am I excited about it? That's where I say it comes in at number 8. Number 7, another TV show, Miss Marvel. Man, I heard things that the actress playing Camilla Khan, or how you pronounce her name, I'm just literally the worst at pronouncing names too, so forgive me. But I heard she can't act. She was struggling to act on the show. I played with this character on that Avengers game that came out recently. And I'm feeling it. But I feel like she does have the potential to be, that give off that Peter Parker vibes, like Tom Holland's Peter Parker. He's like very young, got that young mindset, very energetic. Like he just gives off fun and young. I don't know, that sounds kind of weird. So I didn't mean nothing by that. But I'm just hoping she gives off Peter Parker vibes when we see her go through her maturation as this hero. I'm interested in seeing how her powers, her skill set plays out on screen and what they decide to use and what they don't decide to use, I'm interested in seeing all that, am I eagerly anticipating it? Only because it's Marvel, but character-wise and what I've seen and actors and actresses, like, it's just gonna be one of those things that I might love, but I gotta see it first, But all right, now we are coming up to number 6, and we have yet again another show, and it is gonna be What If Season 2. I don't believe that this is going to come out this year, but I just read something else where somebody who's working on the show confirms of a 2022 release date. Obviously that doesn't really mean nothing until we get the official announcement, and then that don't even mean anything until we actually see it come out on the date and within the year that they said. But I'm going to just pretend that it does come out this year. And like I mentioned with What If Season 1, it was a surprise. Really enjoyed it. I mean, the first season could have took away that Thor episode, but besides that, I enjoyed it. So now that we got the Season 1, now that we got more characters that they can pull from, I'm interested in seeing what they do, because now it just shows me, or now I have more faith that more faith that they really specifically chose these stories for a reason, and that's because we might see something with them down the line, or they might play into something down the line. So I love to stay in the moment, but with the MCU, I just love that the fact that we can also constantly anticipate something. So if you give me something good at the same time while being able to anticipate the next thing or the next thing after that, I'm down. And I feel like that's what If Season 2 is going to give us. And they might introduce a new animation style. You don't know. So I'm interested in seeing that too, because I thought what they did with the first one was dope. And at number 5, we have another TV show, and that is Secret Invasion. Samuel L. Jackson, Emilia Clarke, Olivia Colman, what's his name? Old boy who played that one Skrull in that one movie. We got all them. And here we should be able to find out when Nick Fury actually swapped places with the Skrull, why. We probably should learn more about who else is Skrulls, the role that they play. Like, once you open up a race that can mimic the looks of who they see, and you're doing this in the MCU where we're also getting different multiverses, like, you're opening up a whole nother playground. So I just cannot wait to see what they do with it, and if it lives up to these big crazy expectations that I'm building up in my head. Again, they're opening up another interesting door that I just want to walk through and just browse and see what they do. And hopefully when I walk in, they got a lot of cool options for me to choose from. Like, that's what I feel like Secret Invasion is, on top of the great cast. So it is number 5 on my list. We're coming in at number 4 is our first movie, and that is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. If T'Challa, Chadwick, whatever you want to refer to him as right here, if he was still alive and kicking, this would be higher. But having no T'Challa, no replacement for Black Panther like that we know of, them saying, hey, we're not going to recast him. I get it. It makes sense. But it's just going to lower the excitement for me. So now I'm going into this Black Panther movie with no Black Panther. And the Black Panther options that we could guess are the easiest choices would be Shuri and M'Baku. I don't really want to see them to be Black Panther going forward. Like, they can put the suit on for the movie, but in a one-off. Like, if y'all tried to come to me and say, like, yo, we figured out a way to bring Michael B back as Killmonger, but he's going to be our new Black Panther, I'm sold 100%. This would probably be number 1. But just what I'm getting, like, you're trying to sell me on just Wakanda going against most likely Namor and Atlantis or whatever that body of water is. Like, I'm interested in seeing what Ryan Coogler's gonna do, because he's an amazing director. He should have never been profiled like that at that bank, but that's a whole nother different story. Respect that man and his greatness. Like, I directed Black Panther, and y'all gonna handcuff me in the... I'm not even gonna get into it. But, you know, just seeing him as a filmmaker, just throw out another one. The cast of the people who's coming back, all great. Again, seeing character potential like Namor being introduced to the world, I'm sold. But you're asking me to be like, you're asking me to be excited and anticipating it compared to what I've got, what other options I got. It's gotta fall 4. It's gotta fall 4, and 4 is pretty high. But coming in at number 3 is our last show on the list, and that's gonna be Moon Knight. I can tell you honestly, I was not familiar with the character at all before it was announced. But just seeing it announced, seeing Oscar Isaac coming in and not running from the comic book movies after Apocalypse, like, he's got some making up to do. So hopefully he's going to make it up in this movie with the MCU and not Fox. I mean, technically Disney Fox is all saying that, but you know what I'm saying. He seems like he's going to get into his bag in this one. They're dealing with mental health. They're dealing with more violence than the MCU is accustomed to. And we're just going all this based off of what we've seen, trailers and stills and information that's came out about the show. I'm down. So this might make me a fan of the character way more than I was before. So I am definitely looking forward to seeing how this plays out. So Moon Knight coming up soon. Hopefully it's got that. Hopefully it lives up to the potential that it's setting for itself. But coming in at number 2, back to the movies, we got Thor: Love and Thunder. You could have said, yo, we're making another Thor movie after Ragnarok. Taika Waititi's coming back. Chris Hemsworth coming back. I'm so, like, what new feeling that Taika Waititi brought into the MCU with the way that he did Thor, especially coming off Thor: Dark World, just in that sector of the franchise, like most improved movie, player, whatever award. But then it also went into MVP consideration because it's one of the best MCU movies. So the fact that you take that jump, you take that level of constant humor, visuals, weirdness, action, just all out storyline and like story directions that you decide to go, and just color and flair, you bring all that to Ragnarok. What you think I'm gonna expect with Love and Thunder? But then you say Natalie Portman's coming back after, you know, her so exit from the MCU before. You know, she was one of my favorite actresses not too long ago. She's kind of taking a step back just because, you know, what she's been doing out there, and some other great actresses has been coming along right after her. But she, you know, I'm still a fan. Then you got Christian Bale, man. You know what he does when he starts getting serious about roles. You know that dedication he takes. So I can't wait to see what he does with this, what looks like a very CGI role. What else, man? They just, you know, you bring Tessa Thompson back. I'm already so like, just You seeing where we saw Thor at last, and then we're also going to get some more interaction with the Guardians in this movie. Man, I'm sold. This movie would have been an easy number one, but it so happens to come out the same year that we get our number one entry, and that is Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness. That title alone, Multiverse of Madness, like you can't just throw madness in a title and just expect for it's just gonna be just normal. Like, no, when we saw that title, we should have been losing our minds. Cause this is the MCU. We gotta have faith in them. So if they put the word madness, we should expect madness. And then they get Sam Raimi to jump on board, like Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, Evil Dead, Drag Me to Hell, which I feel like is one of his sleepers in his filmography. Like, you get a guy with that background, what he's done in the comic book game, but in the horror game, and you're telling me Doctor Strange, and you're already teasing that this is going to be a horror movie, and you're saying madness? Like, what? Should we not be excited? And then we start getting intel in the story, and then we see what happens in No Way Home, and then we see the trailer after No Way Home? Am I not supposed to be excited? And then we get all the trailers after that. We get all the news and all the leaks that I've been intentionally going on Reddit and looking for. We're seeing all this? And we're not to be excited? Are you insane? This movie is going to be, no pun intended, pure madness. And I can't wait. Like, I feel like I already know what the movie's going to be about. I feel like I already seen it. But when I go see it, and I actually go see it, I feel like I'm gonna double my love for it, because I feel like I love the movie already. But wait till I see the movie. You're not gonna be able to tell me nothing. I won't say this movie is whack, even if it is whack. You won't hear me say it. That is my true Marvel bias, because they have made the anticipation process almost as enjoyable as watching the movie. Like, it's twofold with them. I'm not just done with, it's not just the movie comes out, I watch it, I'm done with it. No, I watched the movie, but before that, I'm really already into the movie before I even seen it for months. And then afterwards, after it goes off, like, I go see it again. And then I start still thinking about it, because I'm like, yo, how is this gonna play going forward? Like, come on now, stop playing with Marvel, man. Stop playing with the MCU. DC. Don't get me started on DC. These guys had the nerve to drop a big DC trailer that had scenes from Black Adam, scenes from The Flash, scenes from the Batman, and the Batman ain't even in that universe that those other two are in. But it's telling me, like, yo, this is about to be a big year in DC for movies, at the movies, only at the movies. And then we get knowledge that, yo, we pushed all our movies back. So now The Flash isn't coming out this year. So now, oh yeah, it was Aquaman. So now Aquaman's not coming out this year. The only movies that we're getting is Batman, Black Adam, and that little Pets movie, I think. I'm just fuming right now, so I might have some of my information wrong, but stop playing with Marvel, DC. Stop playing with Marvel, Sony. Come on now, stop playing with Marvel fans. Stop playing with Marvel haters. Stop playing with Marvel directors who always got something to say because they got that old mindset. Man, you see somebody like some old director, insert old director here, and then you see somebody like Matt Reeves. This old director would just bash the MCU, but then Matt Reeves says says something similar, but he says it in a more respectful way, like, yo, kudos to them. Kevin Feige's the GOAT, the genius, the architect. But then he gives his understandable reason why he might not want to do one of those movies, and it's understandable. But he wasn't hating. Stop playing with Marvel, man. The MCU, man. I'm excited. I can't wait. Let's go. Moon Knight up next, then Doctor Strange. Hopefully I have more feelings, more excited, more happy feelings once all this is done, and once we can do the same thing next year where we're reflecting on 2022, but then talking to you about 2023. Can't wait. When it comes to Marvel, I just live by the moniker, can't wait.
That was Leo Archibald with his 2022 MCU excitement rankings list. But as you can see, our lists are similar, but there really isn't a wrong answer when all the MCU programming looks good. Now, if we did this with the DCEU, the highest ranking would start in the negatives. I'd give Flash like a -1, and it's only that high because Kiersey Clemons is in it. Even the Sony universe of Spider-Man characters would get a proper ranking. Not that I'm excited for any of those besides Kraven. I mean, that has Aaron Taylor Johnson in it, has a recent Oscar winner in it. Anyways, that's been Heavy Eyes. I'll be back next week with something.